So earlier this week, I went through the process of changing out the starter motor and the solenoid on the Pinto, and naturally forgot to record any of it. And so in this very short video, I'm going to show you exactly what I did, because it did get a little tricky as I kind of went through the process um, to get that starter motor out. It's wedged in there pretty good. So you can see here we've got the new solenoid in. Obviously, when you're working on this, first thing you want to do is make sure you're disconnected from the battery. So definitely make sure you do that. And I went ahead and started with the starter motor. So it's difficult to see. I'll go into the car in just a minute. You can see down there, you can just make out this end of the starter motor right down there. You can kind of see this cable. It goes down and goes through a little bracket. See if I get the light to show you that bracket down there. So you can see it's just a little tiny, really dirty bracket. The cable goes through and then connects into that starter motor. So I'm going to come into the car, show the motor. All right, so we're here in the Pinto. As you can see, absolutely filthy. But we've got the starter motor right here, and you can see it's in a pretty tight spot to get out. And so you've got the 3 bolts, 1, 2, and then the other one back up in there. And so what I did, undid the cable at the front, and actually did that from up above. Then came under here, undid these 3 bolts, and that all went very smoothly. No real issues undoing those. But what becomes challenging is when you come over to pull this out. Obviously, it's not coming out backwards, and it's not going straight down, and certainly it's not going to go up, if you noticed from the shot earlier. And so the only real way to get this thing out is to go straight forward. But that becomes quite challenging as well. And so you can see right in here, there's our starter motor back there. You can see the little bracket right here. So our cable comes through here, through this little bracket here, and then connects the starter motor. And the problem comes that the starter motor can't fit through this little tiny space right here. And so what I ended up doing is all I had to do is remove this bracket, just pull off this bolt and the bolt behind it. And then with that off, I was able to I had to rotate the starter motor, kind of get it wedged just right and force it through. And did manage to pull it through that way. And then getting it out was actually a lot easier. Getting it back in was even more challenging. But with this bracket off, the rubber and everything off, I was able to get it in there. But it is a very tight fit. I did see one video or one forum where someone was talking about it, and they said they just pulled everything off. I was not prepared to basically remove this entire beam and everything with it just to get the starter motor off. So I was able to get it just through this little space. But like I said, it's a really tight fit. So if you have to do this with your Pinto, best of luck. Once I got the starter motor in, I went ahead and installed the new solenoid, and that pretty straightforward process. My one recommendation is make sure you basically leave it wired up or take a picture so you know exactly where everything's supposed to go, and then install your new solenoid and wire it the exact same way. Just make sure you don't get anything misplaced. You can see I've got a little bit, somebody did some janky wiring at some point in here. I think this is for the stereo that was in the glove box. That's my guess. But so that's been wired in here too. But yeah, make sure you take pictures so you know exactly what you're doing. But that was very easy. Starter motor, much more difficult to get in and out. But solenoid, no real problems there.